Welcome back to the breakdown, where we talk about every single MLB game on the slate and do just that. We break them down, look at how the starting pitchers are doing, how teams are hitting, and everything in between. We also wrap up the video talking about some guys that are hot and cold versus guys in good and bad matchups. Yesterday, we took every single player that was in a good matchup for 2+ bases. They all cashed, so that would have been an insane parlay. I know someone tweeted at me that said they did that. Insanity, but it is trade deadline day, so a lot of people are on the move. Most notably, Jorge Soler was the most recent change. He was traded to the Braves last night. Again, there's going to be a lot of deals. I believe the trade deadline ends at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So we got a lot of time before we dive into that, but let's dive into the games. We've got a lot of games. Some games I'll talk about some more than others, some less, and then we'll end up the video with some hot hitters and cold hitters and things like that. As always, things are timestamped down below, so if you only care about certain games, certainly feel free to skip around. Our best bets video, which honestly has been worst bets recently, you can definitely check that out. It was posted right before this one. Has been a terrible season for us, but I still like to dive into all the games and talk through them and talk about some things that I did look at and things that I didn't look at and things like that. So let's dive in the first game. Guardians versus Tigers. Now this one projects to be Gavin Williams versus Joey Wentz. Tigers are a team that do have a lot of guys on the trade block, especially their pitching staff. Yesterday, they didn't trade Jack Flaherty, but they took him off. They scratched him. He could be on the move here today. Could be Joey Wentz. Not really a game I'm touching a lot. 110 start feels like a weird one. A lot of guys that could be traded. Could be some weird lineups here. I'm honestly not really going to dive into this game a ton. I believe this is the only early start on the slate. Not a game that I'm honestly really going to talk a ton about. I don't know who's starting for the Tigers. And the Guardians have been making some trades, whether they just trade for Lane Thomas. I like that acquisition for him. See if they make any more moves. Again, not going to touch that game. Like I said, I'll talk about some games more than others. This is probably one of the ones I'll talk about the least because it's just a game that early start, middle trade deadline day. I don't really want to do that. First game of the night slate, we have Blue Jays taking on the Orioles. Obviously, doubleheader yesterday. Each team got a win there. Both very high-scoring games. Today, you see Chris Bassett take on Corbin Burns. Burns should not be traded today. That would be insane considering they just traded for him. But Chris Bassett, I don't anticipate him being moved here either, but Toronto appears to be on a fire sale. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see, maybe a little bit of a higher scoring game. Toronto, despite trading some key guys in there, really good against righties recently, batting .280 over the last 2 weeks. And Baltimore, pretty good too against righties. And Chris Bassett is a guy that I honestly don't trust a ton. He's coming off a pretty bad start, I believe. I think that was against the Rangers. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember when his last start was, but Bassett is always liable for, I swear, like 3 runs. Actually, it was against the Rays. He's always capable of giving up 3-4 earned runs. So if I'm back anything here, probably back in the O's, maybe on the either money line, which is pretty juiced, maybe Corbin Burns to record a win, who people got wrecked last time that happened. And I probably, if I'm looking at anything here, it's maybe just the Orioles team total over. I think they can get 3 runs off Bassett, and that Toronto bullpen, who they might trade away some arms here, although there's not a lot of trade value there because their bullpen's been absolutely terrible the last 2 weeks. Didn't look at any props in this game, but I would not. I would honestly probably back the O's. Maybe Corbin Burns win, or probably just taking the O's on the team total, maybe even the run line, but that run line with Craig Kimbrell looming, no thanks. Again, probably Orioles team total over if I had to pick anything there. Next one, we have another big game. Yankees versus Phillies. Yankees took it to the Phillies yesterday. What was that? 14-4. They absolutely destroyed Zach Wheeler. They've been destroying right-handed pitching in general. Any righty on the mound, they are destroying. Aaron Nola might be the newest one. I mean, they've just been absolutely torching right-handed pitching. Garrett Cole will start for him. I think this is a tight game. I do lean this is going to be a close one. I think it's much closer than 14-4 yesterday. Phillies still haven't been able to get a lot of things going against righties. Garrett Cole hasn't pitched too well, though, this year. I mean, we've seen him have maybe one good start, but he's still giving up 2 earned runs. A lot of base runners with that 1.46 whip. Doesn't look 100%. I think we see runs from both sides. I think this is a 3-3 game, maybe heading out of the 6th. And then the bullpens decide it. Both bullpens haven't been great recently. So if I had to pick anything, again, I probably lean in over here. I think you get runs from the Yankees. They've been scorching hot, although some of their hitters have really bad splits against Nola. I'll talk about them at the end of the video. And then Phillies, I think they finally started to see some things go yesterday. Still 26th the last 2 weeks, but against Luis Hill, got some runs. Yankees bullpen, not one that I can trust. Against Garrett Cole, I feel like people will definitely want to back the Yankees. They're going to be obviously probably the most bet team here, given how hot they've been. I think we see a higher scoring game here once again. I think we see both teams putting up some runs instead of yesterday, where it's really just the Yankees kind of like both these two offenses to score. Next one, we have the Marlins taking on the Rays. This is going to be the lowest total, I believe, on the board at 7.5. You have Jeffrey Springs making his first start of the year, coming back from Tommy John surgery. Edward Cabrera starts for the Marlins. On paper, Marlins much better offense right now, especially against lefties. Rays have traded some key guys away. I mean, we talked about Isaac Brady's traded away, Ahmed Rosario traded to the Dodgers. Randy Rosarena traded as well. We'll see if Chris Morel, I believe, makes his first start for the Rays. Again, Rays, just not a lot you can really love to trust against a righty. Cabrera is a guy that does walk people, and the Rays have had a pretty high walk rate, especially against righties over the last month or so. So wouldn't be shocked if they have a lot of base runners. They just haven't been getting the timely hits. Been better recently, but timely hits against righties has not been there. Two decent bullpens. Not really a huge lean here. These are two teams that their lineups could look different from right now. Just going into this game, could be some guys dealt away. Again, just not really. I don't really. Marlins or Rays, two teams that are Rays are going to start tanking here. Though maybe they win some games because they have the talented pitching staff coming back here, but their offense is anything to be desired. So I lean kind of avoid. Honestly, that's the only thing I lean there. Now, this next one, I do have a pick in this one. If you watch the best bets video, I'll talk about my pick. It is the Twins versus the Mets. Over under 8.5. Yesterday, another high scoring game. I mean, heck, every single game went over, I think, except the Reds game. We look at David Festa versus Sean Manaea. I'm leaning, if I had to do anything here, I kind of lean the full game over. But I am on David Festa's over and hits allowed. That is my favorite pick of the day. It is 4.5. There's a chance it voids because they do sometimes like to start an opener in front of Festa so that he avoids the top three in the lineup from the opposing team. Could they do that today after using a lot of bullpen arms yesterday? Maybe not. So I like the over and hits allowed. Obviously, if he does not start and technically comes in after 3 batters, it would void. But Festa hasn't been great. You don't just get an 8.1 ERA and not earn that. So he hasn't been that great. Mets have been pretty good against righties. Yesterday, they rocked Woods Richardson. He was pitching well into the 4th inning and then just absolutely torched him. Again, Mets have been pretty good against righties despite those 2 games against the Braves. That's a divisional foe. They know better how to pitch against you. Twins have been pretty good against lefties all year long. Didn't do a ton against Quintana yesterday, but they got some runs on him. And then Sean Manaea, he's just a guy that is just lurking, and I swear he's going to have a blow-up start soon. I like the over in this game. Twins bullpen have been pretty bad, pretty banged up too in there. I like the over in this game once again. I think he goes over again at 8.5. I think both teams could realistically put up 7 or 8 themselves, but if it's a close game, 4-4, you get it over 3 to 6. I think there's a lot of different ways this could go over. A lot of things have to go wrong to go under. I like an over in this spot. But again, my favorite pick of the day, David Festa, over 4.5 hits allowed. Next game, we have Cubs versus the Reds. Now, you have Justin Steele taking on Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez is projected. I don't know if he's actually going to start. Justin Steele should be starting. Nick Martinez, I believe yesterday was supposed to be Frankie Montas, and then he got traded. A lot of weird things going on in Cincy. We'll see if they make any more moves. Now, on paper, you're looking at this total at 9.5, and you see how the two teams have done against the respective arm. Righties versus the Cubs have been cooking them. Lefties versus the Reds have been cooking them. And the bullpens looked good. Still a 9.5 total. It's Great American Ballpark. I look at Justin Steele. I actually wanted to back him for over and outs, but he's really struggled against Cincy. He's really struggled in his career there. I don't know if I want to trust him in a place he struggled. Sure, the Reds haven't been great against lefties. Could that change? Maybe. They have a couple guys that have struggled, though, against him. Jonathan India and Ellie De La Cruz. We'll talk about, I believe, 1 or 2 of those at the end of the video. Again, probably not a game I'm touching a ton. I thought Steele would go 6, but then I looked at how he's pitched in Cincy and just against the Reds. Not good. Is it something maybe they see against him that they hit well? I don't know. I'm not sure I want to find out either. As again, not a game I don't think I really have a great lean on. I don't know officially if Martinez will start. Cubs, they both scored 1 yesterday. Reds blew them out. I wouldn't be shocked if the Cubs won this one, but again, these are two offenses that are 8 runs or nothing. You just never know what you're getting from them, and it's hard really for someone to handicap these games when you just have no idea what the heck's going to happen. So again, I do lean the Cubs here, but again, Steele has struggled in Cincy and against the Reds before, so not probably a game I'm going to touch anything in, even for a parlay or something. Probably not one I want to touch. Next one, we have another high-scoring game yesterday, Mariners versus Red Sox. Today, got Luis Castillo and James Paxton. This is about an even pick 'em, -110 both ways, over under at 9.5. Both Castillo and Paxton, who's making his first start back for the Red Sox. Both of them have a 3.5 earned runs line. Pretty dang high. Now, Seattle, on paper, not been great against lefties recently. They've been or technically I would say probably better than what their numbers show down there. They were decent against lefties last few weeks. Haven't seen a ton of them. And Boston's been scorching hot against righties. So I look at this game, I still lean over, but 9.5 is a tight line. But Castillo, I don't trust him. It would be on brand. One of our picks we lost yesterday was Mariners money line. Would be on brand if they won today. Again, this is a game I lean over. The bullpens haven't been great. Starting pitchers are hit or miss. Paxton gives up a lot of base runners, and if the Mariners, who have been decent with runners in scoring position recently, can get those hits, this should go over. Castillo will be in some trouble pretty much all day long. Red Sox have just been that good against righties. They rocked Logan Gilbert yesterday, although he had one pitch that should have been called strike, but didn't get the called strike, and then blew up for 7 in the third. I do like an over, though. Once again, these are two offenses that are swinging hot bats. I think you see, again, a lot of runs scored in that game. Next one, we have Rangers and Nationals. Max Scherzer versus Lance Lynn. I don't anticipate Lynn being traded. Cardinals look to be buying. I mean, they just traded for Eric Fetty and Tommy Pham. Again, Max Scherzer pitched really well in St. Louis. I believe he did go to Missouri, and that's where he grew up. So not a surprise he's really cooked the Cardinals when he's been in St. Louis. Wouldn't be shocked if he does it again. Max Scherzer's had kind of an up and down year. He's due a pretty good solid start. I don't know what his props are. I didn't really look at him a ton. Not really a guy I'm looking at props just because I feel like he's always kind of on an injury, pitch count, if you will. Lance Lynn, not a guy that you really love to back. The Rangers getting a little better against righties. Again, these are two teams that they feel honestly very even. If we're talking about yesterday, the Rangers smoked them. Wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals somehow smoked the Rangers today. These are two teams that, given the price, you have plus 105 for Cardinals. Not really. I don't see a big edge here. These are two offenses that are up and down. Two offenses that I feel like mimic each other. They're like, some games they score 6, some games they score 1 or 2. Do you have a crystal ball and know what's going to happen which day? I don't. Not a game I really want to touch a ton of. Next one, Braves and Brewers. This was the scene of our final pick yesterday that lost. We had the under 8.5, and it looked great. I talked to Colin Ray, Grant Holmes, both pitching well, and they did. 3 runs going into the 6th against 2 bullpens that are really good, and the Braves bullpen came and sold. Today, you have Bryce Elder, projected to go up against Frankie Montas, the newest acquired Milwaukee Brewer. Look at these ERAs. You think this game soars over. It's going under. It's going under, and it's going to piss me off because I had the under yesterday with much better pitching, and it went over. And with like 11 runs, a lot of them coming in the bullpen. Today, it somehow goes under. I don't know how. Don't know how it goes under. Bryce Elder sucks. Frankie Montas sucks, but it's somehow going under. I don't know how it does, but I'm tired. I don't even want to look at these two logos because it pissed me off what happened yesterday when I took the under. Should have hit, and the bullpen just came in an absolute sell job. I hate this game. It's going under. I'm not betting it. It'll go under. Just take it to the bank. Royals, White Sox, our next game. Obviously, Royals are big favorites. What have the White Sox lost? 15, 16 straight in a row. Jonathan Cannon going against Michael Wacha. This is a sneaky one. I like runs. I like the over 8.5. Royals have been really good against righties, and Jonathan Cannon stinks. Michael Wacha, the last time he pitched against the White Sox, a gem. 7 scoreless. Today, he's got a 2.5 earned runs line. Why does he have a 2.5 earned runs line at minus 130 on the under? I don't know. White Sox stink. I'm not taking the over because I know if I count the White Sox to score runs, they will do nothing for me. But don't be shocked. The White Sox put up some runs. They've scored, 3, 3, and 5 the last few days. Could trade Luis Robert Jr. I expect him to be traded today. But again, these are two bullpens that have been pretty bad. I think there's runs early. I think there's runs late in this game. I like the over 8.5. Almost added that to the card. That would have been my second pick of the day. I really like an over in this spot. I think Wacha gives up some runs. Honestly, the Royals could put up 9 alone on the White Sox and Cannon in that bullpen. They also did that yesterday with the Bobby Witt Jr. Grand Slam. I like runs once again. Next one, Pirates and Astros. If you watch our best bet of the day, Logan's best bet is in this game with Falter and Hunter Brown. So I'm not going to touch a ton on this. If you want to hear Logan's full analysis, go watch the best bets video posted right before this one. Check. You know what? I'll post it right now. We're posting, published. It's been posted. You can go check it right now. It's posted right before this one. Again, I like Bailey Falter. I think he pitches well here, but I'm really good with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Logan talks more on that. Hunter Brown's been pretty solid. I'll let Logan, and I don't want to spoil his pick. Go check out the best bets video, see what he likes there. Not a lot of props I look for, though, in that game. Next game on the slate, Rockies and Angels. We have the start of this series. Now, the last series for the Angels was just bonkers against the A's. It was just like every game went over. Very, very unlike, normal series. Today you get Cal Quantrill against the Griffin Canning. Honestly, I'm looking at a pick here. I kind of like the Rockies on the money line. It's an underdog spot. I don't like Griffin Canning. I think he stinks. I think Cal Quantrill's respectable. Rockies cannot hit lefties to save their life. Good thing they don't face lefty today. They face Griffin Canning, the righty. I think they could get some runs up on him. I honestly do. I really think the Rockies could get some runs. I like the Rockies a little underdog money line here. I don't know if I want to bet on the Rockies because we're almost in August, and the Rockies are one of the worst teams in the league, but I think they could get some runs up and beat the Angels here. I just don't think laying minus 135 on the Angels with Griffin Canning is smart. I think Cal Quantrill can give them a chance to win, and I think that's all you need. So I do like the Rockies here. Maybe looking at maybe a first 5 money line, get in and out, and not have to go to that bullpen, which on paper looks decent, but it's not very good. I do like the Angels to lose this one. I like the Rockies. Underdog money line. It's a little underdog for you. Nationals versus D-backs. I have another lean here. Patrick Corbin versus Ryan Nelson. Yesterday, high-scoring game. What did the Diamondbacks score? 5 in the bottom of the ninth to come back and win 9-8. Christian Walker might not be active here. He did leave with an oblique injury. And something I've been noticing when we get to the hot and cold hitters, it's happened a few times. Guys that are cold, they're like 1 for 15. They suddenly leave with an injury, and then they're out a few days. Are they injured and hiding that thing? Maybe. I feel like it's happened with Riley Green. I forget who else it happened with. For Christian Yelich. Both those two guys were sucking. They made it to the cold list, then randomly left with an injury the next game. I don't know. Just something I've been noticing. But Patrick Corbin, a pick I looked at, is under and out. 17.5 was plus money. I just know the second I take a Patrick Corbin under, he either 1 pitches a masterclass, 2, he sucks, but he still goes 6 innings pitch because the Nationals are just like, whatever. You've given up 7 earned runs. Go out there, 110 pitches. I'm not taking it, but I do like Patrick Corbin under 17.5 outs. A lot of different stats to back it up. His hits allowed is a juiced 6.5. His walks allowed is 1.5, juiced on the over. His earned runs line is 3.5. My luck is he goes out there, sucks, gives up 7 hits, 4 earned runs, but he still makes it 6 because the Nationals got not much to play for. And they paid Corbin too much not to eat some innings and used a lot of bullpen guys yesterday. So could they run Corbin into the ground? Potentially. I do like his under and outs. I will be curious how it works. Hopefully it hits because I want to get more dialed in on the MLB. I was pretty dialed in until yesterday. So I like Corbin under and outs. So plus money, not a bad plus money play though. There's certainly worse picks on the board. I like that one. Next one, Dodgers taking on the Padres. Start of this series. Always pretty good games. Got Glasnow versus Matt Waldron. Glasnow's been pretty bad the last few starts. Coming back from injury. Hasn't looked great. What was his last start against the Giants? They got some runs up on him. If you're ever back in the Dodgers, it's always against a righty. Today they get the righty and Matt Waldron and his knuckleball. Again, I don't know how you back the Dodgers full game. Dodgers, combine their name. Dodgers full game. Looking at that bullpen, I do lean in over here. I think we see Waldron give up some runs, Glasnow give up some runs, and then those bullpen give up some runs as well. Wouldn't be surprised if both these two teams make some additions to the bullpen as the day goes on with the trade deadline approaching. Do like an over, though, in this spot. I don't think that one starts at 8:10. I think it's probably like a 9:45 start, but still, I like some runs in that one. I think that's an over. Next one, Robbie Ray versus JP Sears as the Athletics, their red-hot offense, take on the Giants. Another one I looked at an over, but the lines for hits allowed felt a little weird. JP Sears always gives up 6 hits, and his hits allowed is plus money. And this a Giants team has been really good against lefties. So I like a hits allowed maybe for JP Sears. I like the over. I think the A's, a team that's been pretty good swinging the bats, can get some runs up in San Fran. You're never going to really see high totals in San Francisco. A's bullpen, pretty good last few days, last few weeks, but they could trade some guys here. I like an over, though. I like an over in this game. I just didn't take it because something felt a little bit off. But Robbie Ray, I think he gives up a run or two. I think JP Sears could give up 3 or 4. Giants have been really good against lefties. Despite trading Jorge Soler, they still got a lot of good lefties or righties in there. And Soler not really swinging a super hot bat. Well, he's been swinging a hot bat, but hasn't been, great all season long. I do like an over, though, in this game to wrap up the card. I believe that's the final game on the slate. And finally, we will end the video talking about some guys that are hot and cold. Now, here are the guys that are hot, and here are the guys that are cold. We'll start with the cold guys. Will Smith, you need to figure it out, brother. You have been, I swear, bad the last few months. Jonathan India could be on the move. Same with Ryan McMahon. 2 guys that could be on the move. Maybe that's why they're stinking it up. Bryce Harper, you got to figure it out too. Adley Rutschman, not been swinging 2 hot bats. Those are 5 guys that have just been really struggling. Won't be shocked if 1 or 2 of those guys are traded. Harper, Rutschman, and Will Smith probably not getting traded. So India and McMahon are probably the 2 getting traded. Here are the guys that are hot. Justin Turner, the newly acquired Mariner. Is he in the lineup today? Probably. He's been swinging a hot bat. Xander Bogaerts, swinging a hot bat. Not a good matchup. We'll talk about him in a second. Seth Brown for the A's has been pretty good. Vladdy, pretty good. Devers, very good. And Jorge Soler, the newly acquired Brave, returning back to his former team, swinging a hot bat as well. Soler hasn't been great on the year, but like I said, been swinging a hot bat recently. Do what you want with those guys. Those are guys on fire, and those are guys that are ice cold. Here are some good and bad matchups. Now, the good matchups yesterday, Everyone got 2+ bases. Not sure if I feel as confident in today's list, but some interesting things I wanted to point out. JT Realmuto, really good against Garrett Cole, 11 for 20. Tyler Stevenson, I talked about some Reds, are really good against a steal, and the Cubs, 9 for 16 against steal. Castellanos, another Philly, pretty good against Garrett Cole, 7 for 18. Ketel Marte, I didn't want to put him on this list because the last time he faced Corbin, he went over, but he is there. He's hit Corbin pretty well and swinging a hot bat. And Juan Soto doesn't have the best batting average against Nola, 10 for 36. I want to put 14 walks in there. I mean, that is insanity. Him to record a walk today is about -110. So I'll be curious how that one goes. Juan Soto obviously always capable for getting the walks and had a pretty good day yesterday at the plate. Wouldn't be shocked if he gets a walk here. Nola's been not as efficient the last few outings, so take a peek at that. Those are some guys in a hot matchups. We'll see how they do. Now, I talked about some cold guys. Glasnow versus Xander Bogaerts, who struggled against him. I believe another Luis Arraez, another guy that has struggled against Glasnow, 0 for 6. Can't find much worse guys for Luis Arraez. Elly De La Cruz, despite a lot of Reds having good batting averages against Steele, Ellie's not one of them. 0 for 8 against Justin Steele. And then Shohei, a guy that hasn't seen Matt Waldron a ton, but 0 for 3 with a couple walks. I put 5 PAs. Technically, that's 3, but you get what I mean. Arenado in there. Jazz Chisholm Jr., another guy that's not seen Aaron Nola too well. Seen him a lot as a member of the Miami Marlins, but not hitting the ball too well against him. So, again, those are just some good and bad matchups. Do what you want with it. As always, I enjoy doing the breakdowns. Let me know if you want me to record these after the best bets video and post them after. Typically, that does maybe yield me looking at more lines and kind of giving you more leans and things that I did look at. So let me know what your guys' preferred method is. Maybe I'll start doing the best bets video and then uploading the breakdown afterwards, or back and forth. I don't know. You guys let me know down below in the comments. Let me know what you want to see. It's Dinger Tuesday. It's trade deadline day. It's a big day in baseball. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Hopefully we have a good day on our best bets video, which, like I said, was posted right before this one. Let's just have a good day in general. Have a great Tuesday, and I'll see you guys back again tomorrow with another breakdown for another big slate of MLB action, and we'll maybe talk about some trade deadline things, maybe some winners and losers at the deadline or something like that. But y'all have a wonderful Tuesday. See you guys back tomorrow. Peace. Check out the parlay of the day. Should be somewhere here, and then our MLB best bets should be there. I don't know. Whatever. You guys know. Catch you later. Peace.